Welcome to Tech News Today, a podcast about keeping you informed and empowered by giving you the latest tech stories that impact your daily life. It's Wednesday, January 9th. I'm Mike James. Coming up in a bit, we'll tell you about a machine versus machine casualty at CES. Plus, your smartphone could soon tell you when it's time to change your baby's diaper. And Microsoft is at it again. They're already pulling patches only days after the new year. We'll get started in just a moment. First, we'd like to recognize our partners who help make these Tech News Today podcasts possible. We start with a machine versus machine casualty shortly before CES began earlier this week in Las Vegas. It's another accident involving a self-driving Tesla, but this one hit another autonomous robot that had aimlessly wandered out into the road. It was called Promobot. I refer to it in the past tense only lovingly. The company is called Promobot. The company that owns the wayward robot says engineers were taking the robot to a display booth Sunday night. When it stepped out of line and into the roadway, that's when it was sideswiped by the Tesla Model S in autonomous mode. The robot that rents for $2,000 per day tipped over on its side, caused serious damage. According to Promobot, the company says it's likely irreparable, and now they're trying to figure out why it ended up in the road. After, quote-unquote, killing the robot, the Tesla drove another 150 feet before coming to a stop, even though there was a passenger inside. Now, some are wondering if it was just wrong place, wrong time for the lost robot, or part of an elaborate PR stunt. That's certainly one way to kick off the big CES show. Bottom line, rest in peace, Promobot, or should we say, rust in pieces. Speaking of CES, every year you'll get a chance to see the latest and greatest gadgets from all kinds of big manufacturers from all over the world, covering everything from video doorbells to high-end sound systems. Now, you'd expect to see TVs get bigger every year and laptops to get faster, but you'll also come across what can only be described as very unique tech. So let me ask you this question. Have you ever thought to yourself, I really wish my phone would tell me when my child soiled his diapers? Well, if you have, or even if you haven't, you're in luck. CES will be forever known for a lot of things, including the debut of a smart diaper monitor from Korean startup Monit. It's a wearable sensor that you attach to the outside of a baby's diaper that will alert you when it detects number 1 or number 2.
Ew!
It's also supposed to measure air quality along with the humidity and temperature of the baby's surroundings. It was actually created back in 2016, but only launched in Korea and Japan last year. Now, the company says it'll be available in the United States beginning in April. Will it be a hit with parents? Well, one way to look at it is it sure beats the old-fashioned smell test. Just ahead, a Russian church leader said one day we'll all be controlled by the Antichrist through our smartphones. But first, let me tell you about our partners at SimpliSafe Home Security that help make this podcast possible. SimpliSafe is a fantastic security system. With SimpliSafe, there's never any hidden fees or long-term contracts, and because they want everybody to feel safe in their homes, SimpliSafe prices are always honest and fair. Round-the-clock professional monitoring will bring the police anytime there's even the slightest hint of a problem. And there are 6 monitoring centers across the country, which means nothing, not even earthquakes, floods, or tornadoes, will interrupt your protection. SimpliSafe is built for the unexpected, just loaded with safeguards. It keeps working even during local power and Wi-Fi outages. Even if a burglar smashes your keypad, the police will be on their way. Plus, the system is so easy to use. It's incredibly intuitive, and it takes only minutes to set up in your home. Just open the box, plug it in, no drilling, no wires. Order your SimpliSafe system right now at simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. The leader of the Russian Orthodox Church has a grim message about technology and where he says it could lead. The Russian patriarch says our dependency on smartphones will lead to the Antichrist coming in and taking over the world. He said the Antichrist will be at the head of the World Wide Web and control the entire human race through smartphones. and, of course, other gadgets. Now, the Russian church leader made the comments on January 7th when Orthodox Christians celebrate Christmas. He apparently doesn't entirely oppose smartphones, but it is a warning against, quote, falling into slavery, unquote. Okay, let's go ahead and check him off the VIP list for CES this year. Microsoft's New Year's resolutions apparently don't involve correcting some of their big issues from last year. The trend continues as we're only days into 2019, and they've already issued and quickly removed 4 bad patches. Microsoft released 14 patches on January 3rd to fix bugs on various Office products, including a problem with the way Japanese dates were being displayed. Now, once released, it didn't take long for people using Microsoft Office 2010 to report 4 of the new patches were causing serious problems with Microsoft Excel. Now, the update has since been pulled, and if this sounds familiar, it's because the same thing happened back in late 2018 when Microsoft pulled other Office patches because of similar issues with Japanese dates. Now, the company had plenty of other problems throughout the year, including major bugs with patches and the big updates that roll out each April and October. If Windows Update has already downloaded and installed the patches on your personal computer, which might have happened on Tuesday, go in and uninstall them now. You might also consider disabling automatic installation through Windows Update because they've been having all these problems. And to uninstall the updates if they were installed, or even to just check them, just open Settings, go to Updates and Security, then click on Windows Update, and then click on the Update History link. There is a button there if you want to uninstall any of those updates, and you'll find out if the latest has been uploaded to your computer. 5G, of course, is on the way. We've talked about it in the Commando On Demand podcasts and the Consumer Tech Update. But, of course, it's not here yet. But that hasn't stopped AT&T from changing their LTE logo on several of their smartphones to 5G and adding an E on the end, which I guess stands for experimental. Now they're being trolled by T-Mobile. AT&T started adding the 5G logo to some Samsung and LG phones when connected to some of their more advanced 4G LTE equipment. But even with the updated label, it's still very much 4G. And changing LTE to 5G with a tiny E is being regarded by T-Mobile and others as an attempt to mislead people into thinking 5G really is here, and AT&T has it first. So, T-Mobile, which uses the same technology, responded with a hilarious video clip on Twitter, poking fun at AT&T. In the 6-second video clip, a T-Mobile employee patches a tiny sticker labeled 9G over the LTE icon at the top of the iPhone, noting they didn't realize it was that easy to upgrade. Coming up, one man is pretty upset after finding out a friend of his ex has been using his Netflix account for years. And right now, a quick thank you to our friends who helped make this podcast possible. Well, you know what's out there. Facial technology can unlock all kinds of gadgets these days. But how about just a photo of your face? A Dutch consumer protection organization tested 110 devices and found 42 could be tricked into unlocking the device simply by using a photo of the owner. And they didn't even have to be high-resolution photos. We're talking not only selfies, but other pics from social media accounts. Now, Apple's newest iPhones using Face ID, like the XR and the XS, passed along with high-end Android smartphones from Samsung, Huawei, Honor, and OnePlus. But again, that's high-end phones. Other cheaper brands from Samsung, Honor, and Huawei failed, along with devices made by Asus, Lenovo, Motorola, LG, Nokia, BlackBerry, and Sony devices didn't pass even once. So if you're concerned about your smartphone security, remember that most modern models have protection alternatives like iris scanning, fingerprint scanning, or less secure PIN numbers. And we've got all kinds of information on biometrics and other ways to keep your smartphone secure at Commando.com. Again, that's Komando.com. Ever since streaming services really became a thing, people have been sharing account passwords. Often a bad idea, by the way. Now, aside from the fact that you might be putting your information at risk and that companies obviously don't like this practice, sometimes you might not even remember everyone that you shared your password with or who they gave it to. So, like this situation, when you break up with someone, you often lose touch with not only that person, but their friends and family. So, pretty typical, but that's why this guy was caught off guard by a text message from a number he didn't recognize asking if he had paid his Netflix bill. In the strange conversation that followed, he found out that a friend of his ex had been using his Netflix account for 2 years since their breakup. Of course, he was not very happy, to say the least, and said he'd be changing the password. Well, that didn't sit too well with the person who would no longer have the free Netflix. It was apparently going to ruin their night. So that person actually started calling the man names and insulting him via these texts, and finally he got blocked. So probably a good idea to check up on who's accessing your Netflix account, Hulu, other similar services, and then change those passwords on a regular basis so this doesn't happen to you. By the way, if you like our podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you'll get it uploaded to your device automatically every single day. And finally, for today's Commando Kicker, in the cliffs of Transylvania, there's an ancient castle that once imprisoned Vlad the Impaler, who many say was the inspiration for the original Dracula. The castle still stands to this day, and its oldest fortifications date back to the 14th century. After a number of expansions and additions, the building is a massive construction with no clear maps, but researchers have been able to use radar scanning technology to see what's beneath the castle. Now, the radar was able to reveal places where parts of the castle were held up by bedrock and others held up by human-made structures. Did one of those hold the infamous Vlad the Impaler? They haven't found that out yet, but research is still underway, and of course we'll let you know what happens with that. For more fun and interesting facts, go to Commando.com and search for the Commando Kicker. And that's your tech news for today. If you want to win great prizes like the Commando 2-in-1 tablet and laptop, or even a Commando Bluetooth speaker, simply become a Commando ambassador. If you love getting the Commando free email newsletters, you can share it with your friends and family who will benefit from valuable tech and the digital life hacks. Invite them to get the free email alerts. And more people you invite, the more they sign up and the more prizes you win. Just go to Commando.com/ambassador to learn more.